Bullied as a child and rejected by his own companies, Elon Musk faced it all, until one launch failure nearly shattered his dreams forever. Elon Musk was just a boy when life began throwing its punches. Growing up in Pretoria, South Africa, he endured relentless bullying at school. His classmates saw him as different, a kid who preferred books and computers to soccer and roughhousing. That difference made him a target, and one day he was beaten so badly that he struggled to breathe. But even as he lay bruised and humiliated, something sparked within him, a determination to rise above the world that seemed intent on keeping him down. At home, life wasn't much easier. His parents divorced when he was young, leaving him to navigate the complexities of a fractured family. Elon's father, a man he would later describe as deeply abusive, often criticized him harshly. Yet, instead of breaking him, those experiences shaped him. They taught him the value of endurance and the importance of forging his own path. By the time he was 17, Elon had set his sights on escaping the confines of his troubled environment. He left South Africa with nothing more than a suitcase and a dream of building something extraordinary. He chose the United States as his destination, believing it was the land where innovation thrived and bold ideas could take flight. The journey wasn't easy. He worked menial jobs to pay for his education, surviving on little sleep and cheap meals. But in his heart, he carried an unwavering belief. If he worked hard enough, he could change the world. It wasn't long before Elon's genius began to shine. He didn't just want to live a good life, he wanted to make life better for everyone. Little did the world know, the same boy who once sat alone in the schoolyard was about to become one of the most groundbreaking innovators of our time. Elon Musk's journey to success began with grit and relentless ambition. After arriving in the United States, he enrolled at the University of Pennsylvania, where he studied physics and economics. While others might have been content with a steady path, Elon wasn't one to play it safe. He saw technology as a gateway to shaping the future and wanted to be at the forefront of that change. After graduation, he took the entrepreneurial plunge with his brother Kimball by co-founding Zip2, a company that provided city guides for newspapers in the early days of the internet. It was far from glamorous. Elon worked tirelessly, often sleeping on a beanbag in the office. Every penny was reinvested into the company, and every hour went into making the business succeed. Zip2 quickly gained traction, but as the company grew, Elon realized he was no longer in control. Investors, eager to protect their stakes, began sidelining him. Decisions were made without his input, and Elon's frustration grew. The final blow came when the board forced him out as CEO, a move that left him feeling betrayed. He had poured his heart and soul into Zip2, only to be pushed aside when success seemed within reach. Yet, Elon didn't let the setback define him. He sold his shares in Zip2 for $22 million and set his sights on something even bigger. He co-founded X.com, an online payment company that eventually became PayPal. This time, Elon envisioned a world where people could transfer money seamlessly across borders, breaking down barriers in commerce. But history seemed to repeat itself. PayPal grew rapidly, attracting the attention of investors and competitors alike. Elon's vision had proven correct, but it also meant he once again faced resistance from within. The company's board clashed with his leadership style, accusing him of being too ambitious and demanding. In a move eerily similar to what happened at Zip2, Elon was ousted as CEO. The betrayal stung deeply. Twice now he had been pushed out of companies he had built from the ground up. But this time the stakes were higher. He wasn't just losing a title, he was losing the chance to steer a revolutionary idea. Despite this, Elon didn't give up. When eBay acquired PayPal for $1.5 billion, Elon walked away with a fortune, but it wasn't the money that drove him. The pain of being betrayed lit a fire within him. He was determined to create something so extraordinary that no one could ever dismiss him again. These early betrayals taught Elon invaluable lessons about trust, resilience, and control. While they could have broken him, they instead became the foundation for what would come next, his boldest ventures yet. Little did the world know, Elon was just getting started, and his journey was about to take him to heights no one could have imagined. After his tumultuous experiences with Zip2 and PayPal, Elon Musk knew one thing for sure. If he wanted to create something transformative, he couldn't just build companies. He had to control them. The wounds of betrayal pushed him to think bigger, bolder, and with more clarity about his future. In the early 2000s, Elon turned his attention to two of humanity's most pressing challenges: our dependence on fossil fuels and our limited presence beyond Earth. He envisioned a future where clean energy powered the world and humanity became a multi-planetary species. These weren't just dreams. To Elon, they were necessities. His first step was SpaceX, a private space exploration company. Most experts scoffed at the idea. Space exploration was dominated by government agencies with billion-dollar budgets, not private startups. But Elon had never been one to follow the rules. He poured $100 million of his own money into the company, hiring a small team of passionate engineers. The goal was audacious: to create reusable rockets that would drastically lower the cost of space travel. In parallel, Elon joined Tesla Motors, a fledgling electric car company that had yet to make a single vehicle. Electric cars were seen as impractical and unattractive at the time, dismissed as a niche market for environmental enthusiasts. Elon thought differently. He believed that electric cars could be faster, more efficient, and cooler than traditional vehicles. But believing in something and making it happen were two different things. Both SpaceX and Tesla faced enormous challenges. SpaceX's first 3 rocket launches ended in failure, each one a blow to Elon's vision and finances. The media ridiculed him, painting him as a reckless billionaire wasting money on impossible dreams. Tesla wasn't faring much better. Developing electric cars required cutting-edge technology, and Tesla was burning through cash at an alarming rate. Early models faced production delays and technical issues. Critics called the company doomed from the start, and even Elon's closest allies began to question whether he had stretched himself too thin. The stress was relentless. Elon was sinking every dollar he had into these ventures, often borrowing money just to pay rent. He worked around the clock, splitting his time between SpaceX's headquarters in California and Tesla's factory. His health began to suffer, and the strain took a toll on his personal life. Friends and colleagues described him as relentless but deeply exhausted. Despite the chaos, Elon refused to give up. He believed in the missions of both companies with every fiber of his being. "If something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor," he would later say. At SpaceX, Elon doubled down on innovation, challenging his team to improve rocket designs and rethink their approach. At Tesla, he pushed for breakthroughs in battery technology and manufacturing processes, all while dealing with the skeptics who seemed eager to see him fail. The turning point came in 2008, a year that would prove to be the most pivotal and harrowing of Elon's life. Tesla was on the verge of bankruptcy. SpaceX had just suffered its 3rd rocket failure, and the global economy was crashing. Elon's entire fortune was tied up in his companies, and the end seemed inevitable. But something remarkable happened. SpaceX successfully launched its 4th rocket, the Falcon 1, into orbit. It was a historic moment, marking the first privately developed spacecraft to reach orbit. The success not only validated Elon's vision, but also attracted critical funding from NASA, which awarded SpaceX a $1.6 billion contract. At Tesla, Elon made one last push to secure financing, personally negotiating deals to keep the company afloat. Against all odds, Tesla released its first car, the Roadster, a sleek electric vehicle that silenced critics with its performance and design. It wasn't just a car. It was proof that electric vehicles could be both practical and desirable. By the end of 2008, Elon's companies had gone from the brink of collapse to the cusp of greatness. SpaceX had opened the door to affordable space travel, and Tesla had sparked a revolution in the automotive industry. For Elon, these victories weren't just about proving his critics wrong. They were about showing the world what was possible when ambition met persistence. The birth of Tesla and SpaceX wasn't just the start of two companies. It was the beginning of a new era, one that Elon Musk had fought tooth and nail to bring into existence. By 2008, Elon Musk was no stranger to adversity, but nothing could have prepared him for the storm that year would bring. His bold ventures, Tesla and SpaceX, were both on the brink of collapse. The weight of running two high-stakes companies, each with their own monumental challenges, was crushing. What made matters worse was the betrayal he faced from people he trusted, partners, investors, and even some team members who questioned his ability to lead. At Tesla, tensions with investors were mounting. They had supported the company under the belief that Elon's vision for electric cars would yield quick profits. But the reality was far grimmer. Tesla was bleeding money, struggling to manufacture its first car, the Roadster, at scale. Early models had technical flaws, and production delays were piling up. Investors started pressuring Elon to step aside, blaming his relentless perfectionism for the company's problems. The situation at SpaceX wasn't any better. The first 3 rocket launches had all failed. Each failure represented millions of dollars lost, and worse, they cast doubt on the company's ability to succeed. Critics, both inside and outside the industry, began calling SpaceX a joke. "Why not leave space exploration to NASA?" they sneered. Even some members of Elon's own team began to lose faith, and whispers of doubt reached him in the hallways. Elon was used to skepticism from outsiders, but betrayal from within was harder to bear. A few senior engineers, frustrated with his demanding leadership style, left SpaceX at critical moments. Others questioned his decisions openly, challenging his authority during meetings. At Tesla, the board of directors seriously considered bringing in a more experienced CEO to replace him. To Elon, it felt like the very people he had fought alongside were turning their backs on him when he needed them most. Financially, things couldn't have been worse. Elon had poured nearly all of his PayPal earnings into Tesla and SpaceX, leaving himself with barely enough money to cover personal expenses. At one point, he was borrowing money from friends to pay his rent. The global financial crisis of 2008 only made matters worse. Investors became more cautious, and banks were unwilling to lend to companies seen as risky. By late 2008, Elon faced a heartbreaking reality. Both Tesla and SpaceX might not survive. He spent sleepless nights agonizing over which company to save if he could only save one. SpaceX represented his dream of making humanity a multiplanetary species, but Tesla had the potential to transform the world's energy future. The thought of letting either company fail was unbearable. The pressure began to take a visible toll. Elon, usually composed and confident, appeared pale and gaunt. He worked tirelessly, often skipping meals and sleeping only a few hours a night. His personal relationships suffered too. Friends described him as distant, and his marriage was unraveling under the weight of his responsibilities. Despite the chaos, Elon refused to show weakness. Then came the breaking point. In December 2008, just days before SpaceX's payroll was due, Elon was told the company had no money left. If funds weren't secured immediately, they would have to shut down. Simultaneously, Tesla's investors were demanding a bailout to keep the company afloat, but no one was willing to take the risk. In a desperate move, Elon gathered his remaining team members at SpaceX and delivered an emotional speech. He told them that while the odds were slim, he believed in their mission. "We didn't come this far to give up," he said, his voice steady but tinged with exhaustion. He asked for their trust one last time, knowing that failure meant not only the end of the company, but also the dreams they had worked so hard to achieve. As the days ticked by, Elon scrambled to secure funding. He met with investors, pleaded with banks, and made countless phone calls, often working through the night. His determination paid off. NASA, impressed by SpaceX's progress, awarded the company a $1.6 billion contract to deliver cargo to the International Space Station. The news was a lifeline, allowing SpaceX to stay afloat and pay its employees. At Tesla, Elon personally negotiated a deal with private investors to keep the company running. He promised them that the Roadster would prove its worth, even as others doubted. Against all odds, The funding came through just before the company's cash reserves ran out. The relief was overwhelming, but it didn't erase the scars of the year. Elon had faced betrayal, financial ruin, and public ridicule, yet he had refused to quit. What kept him going, he later admitted, was a deep sense of purpose. He wasn't building rockets or electric cars just to make money. He was fighting for the future. By the end of 2008, Tesla had delivered its first roadsters to customers, proving that electric cars could be both stylish and high-performing. SpaceX, meanwhile, was preparing for its next rocket launch, buoyed by NASA's confidence in their work. Elon had emerged from the darkest period of his life, battered but unbroken. The betrayals he endured taught him that resilience was not just about weathering storms, but also about finding strength in his vision when others doubted him. As he looked back on that year, Elon realized that his survival wasn't just a victory for him. It was a testament to the power of perseverance and belief. He had come dangerously close to losing everything, but in the process, he had built something far more valuable, a legacy of resilience and a path forward for humanity. The scars from 2008 never fully faded, but they became a reminder of what it took to achieve greatness. Elon knew that his journey was far from over. The struggles and betrayals had shaped him into the leader the world would come to know, a man who would stop at nothing to push the boundaries of what was possible. The darkest days of 2008 had passed, but Elon Musk's journey was far from over. While SpaceX and Tesla had narrowly escaped collapse, the road ahead was still treacherous. Both companies were under intense scrutiny, with critics eagerly waiting for any sign of failure. Elon knew that surviving wasn't enough. He needed to prove that these ventures could thrive. At Tesla, the pressure to deliver was immense. The Roadster, their first electric vehicle, had faced skepticism from the start. People doubted its performance, questioned its reliability, and dismissed it as a niche product. Elon, however, saw it as the key to convincing the world that electric cars weren't just viable but revolutionary. He pushed his team relentlessly, demanding perfection in every detail. There were moments of exhaustion and tension, but Elon's passion was contagious. His belief in Tesla's mission inspired his employees to go above and beyond, even when the odds seemed stacked against them. Meanwhile, at SpaceX, Elon was focused on preparing for another launch. The success of the Falcon 1's fourth mission had been a turning point, but one successful launch wasn't enough to silence the doubters. Elon knew that to secure the future of SpaceX, they needed to demonstrate consistency. He personally oversaw every aspect of the next mission, from design reviews to simulations. It was during one of these long nights at the SpaceX headquarters that a junior engineer hesitantly approached him. The engineer, nervous but determined, shared a concern about a potential issue with the rocket's guidance system. Instead of dismissing the concern, Elon listened carefully. He valued input from every team member, regardless of their position. "Good ideas come from everywhere," he often said. This moment highlighted one of Elon's greatest strengths, his ability to foster a culture of innovation and collaboration, even under extreme pressure. The turning point for Tesla came with the release of the updated Roadster. It wasn't just a car, it was a statement. The sleek design, impressive range, and lightning-fast acceleration silenced the critics. Reviews from automotive experts were glowing, and customers who had initially doubted the idea of an electric vehicle were now lining up to buy one. Tesla was no longer a struggling startup. It was becoming a symbol of the future. At SpaceX, the stakes were equally high. In 2010, the company prepared to launch the Falcon 9, a more powerful rocket designed for heavier payloads. The team had learned from every failure and worked tirelessly to ensure success. The day of the launch was filled with tension. Elon watched from the control room, his eyes fixed on the monitors. As the countdown reached 0 and the rocket lifted off, a collective cheer erupted. The Falcon 9 performed flawlessly, delivering its payload into orbit. It was a historic moment that cemented SpaceX's reputation as a serious player in the space industry. The success of the Falcon 9 wasn't just a technical achievement, it was a testament to Elon's resilience. He had faced years of setbacks, ridicule, and near ruin, but he never wavered in his belief that SpaceX could change the future of space exploration. NASA, which had already awarded SpaceX a cargo resupply contract, now saw them as a reliable partner. This opened the door to more opportunities and solidified SpaceX's role in the aerospace industry. As Tesla and SpaceX gained momentum, Elon began to see the fruits of his labor. The media, which had once mocked his ambitions, started to take notice. Headlines shifted from predicting doom to celebrating innovation. But for Elon, the recognition wasn't the goal. What mattered most was proving that his visions for a sustainable and multiplanetary future were achievable. One evening, during a rare quiet moment, Elon visited a Tesla factory to speak with the workers. Standing in the middle of the production floor, surrounded by machines and the hum of progress, he addressed the team. "What we're doing here isn't just about building cars," he said. "It's about changing how the world thinks about energy and transportation. Every car we make is a step toward a better future." The workers, many of whom had doubted the company's survival just a year earlier, now felt a renewed sense of pride. They weren't just assembling cars, they were part of a movement that was reshaping the world. At SpaceX, Elon's leadership had a similar effect. Engineers and technicians who had endured long hours and countless challenges now saw the results of their efforts. The success of the Falcon 9 had given them confidence, and they were ready to tackle even more ambitious projects, including the development of the Dragon spacecraft and plans for manned missions. Elon's ability to inspire wasn't limited to his employees. Investors, once hesitant to back his ventures, were now eager to support them. Tesla secured new funding to expand production, and SpaceX began attracting partnerships from around the globe. The tides had truly turned, and Elon's dreams were no longer just his own. They belonged to everyone who believed in the possibilities of innovation and perseverance. By the end of this chapter in his journey, Elon Musk had proven that failure wasn't the end. It was a stepping stone to success. His story became a beacon of hope for entrepreneurs, dreamers, and anyone facing seemingly insurmountable challenges. The boy who once endured bullying and betrayal was now a man leading the charge into a brighter, bolder future. And yet, for Elon, this was only the beginning. There were still mountains to climb and stars to reach. By the early 2010s, Elon Musk's persistence began to pay off in ways that no one could ignore. Tesla, once dismissed as a doomed experiment, had launched the Model S, a sleek, high-performance electric sedan that took the automotive world by storm. Critics who had scoffed at the idea of electric vehicles now hailed Tesla as the future of transportation. The Model S wasn't just a car. It was a revolution on wheels, combining cutting-edge technology with sustainability. It won awards, broke records, and most importantly, shattered the perception that electric cars were boring or impractical. At SpaceX, the triumphs were equally monumental. The successful launch of the Falcon 9 and the Dragon spacecraft had put SpaceX on the map as a serious contender in space exploration. When the Dragon docked with the International Space Station, it marked a historic moment. SpaceX became the first private company to achieve such a feat. For Elon, this wasn't just a victory for the company. It was a step toward making space travel accessible to humanity as a whole. But the road to triumph wasn't without its challenges. As Tesla grew, the company faced immense pressure to deliver on its promises. Elon worked tirelessly, often sleeping on the factory floor to oversee production. He pushed his team to innovate constantly, knowing that the stakes were higher than ever. Tesla's success wasn't just about selling cars. It was about proving that sustainable energy was the way forward. Elon's vision extended beyond cars and rockets. Tesla's innovations in battery technology led to the development of Powerwall and PowerPack systems, bringing clean energy storage to homes and businesses. Meanwhile, SpaceX began working on the Starship program, a reusable spacecraft designed to take humans to Mars. These achievements weren't just about creating new products. They were about rewriting the rules of what was possible. Elon's legacy grew with each milestone, but he remained deeply focused on the mission. He often said, "It's not about being famous or rich. It's about solving problems that matter." This mindset resonated with people around the world. Fans, employees, and even skeptics couldn't help but admire his relentless drive and willingness to risk everything for his beliefs. Yet Elon's story wasn't just one of triumph, it was a story of impact. Tesla had sparked a global shift toward electric vehicles, inspiring other automakers to follow suit. SpaceX's advancements in rocket technology had opened the door to a future where space exploration wasn't limited to government agencies. Through Solar City and other ventures, Elon continued to push for a more sustainable planet. By the end of the decade, Elon Musk wasn't just an innovator. He was a symbol of resilience, vision, and the power of dreaming big. His story wasn't about avoiding failure. It was about embracing it, learning from it, and using it as fuel to achieve greatness. And while he had already accomplished more than most could imagine, Elon's gaze was still fixed firmly on the horizon. There was always another challenge to tackle, another dream to chase, and another opportunity to make the impossible possible. The legacy of Elon Musk wasn't just in the companies he built, it was in the hope he inspired. He proved that no matter how many times life knocks you down, with courage and determination, you can always rise again. Elon Musk's journey is a testament to the power of resilience, vision, and unyielding determination. From being a bullied child in South Africa to enduring betrayals, failures, and near financial ruin, his life was anything but easy. Yet, every setback became a stepping stone, and every failure fueled his relentless pursuit of something greater. He taught the world that innovation isn't about comfort or convenience. It's about solving problems that matter. Tesla wasn't just about cars. It was about creating a cleaner future. SpaceX wasn't just about rockets. It was about giving humanity a chance to explore the stars. Elon's unwavering belief in these missions inspired not only his teams, but also millions around the globe. But perhaps the greatest lesson from his story is this: failure is not the end. Elon's life shows that obstacles are inevitable, but how you face them defines who you are. Whether it was being ousted from companies he founded, watching his rockets explode, or facing public ridicule, he never gave up. Instead, he pushed forward with the conviction that the world needed what he was building. For anyone listening, Elon's story is a reminder that your dreams are worth fighting for, even when the odds seem insurmountable. His legacy isn't just in Tesla, SpaceX, or any of his groundbreaking achievements. It's in the message that greatness lies on the other side of persistence. So no matter how tough things get, remember Elon Musk's journey. Keep going, keep believing, and never stop reaching for the stars. Because as Elon has proven time and again, the impossible is just another challenge waiting to be conquered. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through Elon Musk's life and legacy. If you found this story inspiring, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories like this one. And before you go, check out the videos appearing on your screen. They're full of inspiring tales you won't want to miss. See you in the next video, star.